Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Miranda and today is going to be March's wrap up for reading. I did not read as much as I wanted to. I believe I kind of burned myself out in February with the 15 books that I read, which is a lot more than I usually read. So this month I took some time to do some other hobbies and read significantly less. I still read about 6 books though. The first 2 books that I read go together, and that would be the Wire and Nerve series by Marissa Meyer. This is a graphic novel following Iko after the whole events of the Lunar Chronicles series. She is dealing with the wolf soldiers and trying to get them under control. There's a lot who are still roaming Earth, causing chaos, committing murder essentially, and she's going around getting the rogue soldiers back into lunar custody so that they can be rehabilitated and potentially moved back into society. And there's definitely some plot that follows along with it. I don't want to give too much away because of spoilers, but this was a 2-part graphic novel series. So there's the first volume and then the second volume, which is Gone Rogue. This was really cute. I liked the art style. I liked seeing all of the characters from the Lunar Chronicles again, and I really liked that Iko got more of a focus, and there was some exploration of the themes of what it is to be human, what it is to love, and exploring those things, and if a robot or artificial intelligence can have those things and feel human and feel love. And that was a really interesting exploration into that kind of followed along with the plot very nicely. And again, it was just kind of cute. It was lighthearted in a way, very fun, very quick and easy read. And it was just really fun to go back to the Lunar Chronicles series because I really did like it when I read it. And it's making me want to reread it. So I believe I gave both of these 5 stars, which again for a graphic novel, it was really good. Fast paced, very interesting. You hit the ground running essentially on this one. So I would definitely recommend this if you liked the Lunar Chronicles. The second book that I read was Network Effect by Martha Wells. This is the 5th book in the Murderbot Diaries, and I didn't like it as much as I liked the others. I think I gave this like a 3 or 3.5 stars, maybe 4. It just seemed kind of a little bit out of place. The other 4 were novellas and this was a whole novel length. It just felt very different. Like the first 4 probably should have just been left alone, or it was meant to be left alone and then they decided to add on to it. So it just felt a little bit more disjointed. I wasn't into it as much, but it was still good. The writing was still good. The characters were still how they should have been. And it was nice to see some characters from the first 4 novels come back for novellas come back and get some more time, but it just felt a little bit out of place to me in regards to the whole original 4 book novella series. I know there's a 6th one that's supposed to be coming out and I will probably read it because again they weren't bad. It was pretty average. It just felt a little bit out of place, so I'll probably read that just to see what happens and see where the series goes. But overall I think I like the original 4-piece novella series more than I liked Network Effect. The 4th book of the month is Descendant of the Crane by Joan He. This was really good. I think I gave it like a 4 or 4.5 stars. It follows a character, Hesinia, as she essentially ascends the throne after her father's death, which she believes is a murder. It follows as she opens an official investigation into the murder and all of the political things that happen afterwards. There's a lot of political intrigue, a lot of basically she's second guessing herself a lot. There's a lot of things she doesn't know or doesn't understand. There's a lot of characters who are more than what they appear to be, and it was really good. I really liked the world that Joan He created, and I want to see more of it so badly, but this is a standalone. The author left it open-ended, and I did try to read a little bit about that because she is getting a lot of questions on why it's just a standalone or if there'll be more. Sounded like there might have been some issues with the publication of it or publishers themselves. The link that she provided on her Goodreads description was broken, so I couldn't read everything about it. But if there is more to this world, it won't be focusing on Hesinia. It'll be focusing on other characters. but there's still so much more to this story that could be explored and is hinted at being explored. And it was just really, really good, especially for a YA novel. It focused more on the political intrigue and the lies and the betrayals of it all than on the romance, which I really, really enjoyed. And I just want to know more about what happens. I want to know more about other characters' motivations. I would definitely give this a read. It was very, very quick. Lots of things happened, like from the get-go. Very fast paced. There's basically no real lulls in the story at all. It's an event after event after event, which is nice because sometimes there's just a lot of setup for very little payoff, but this just had so much going on and I really liked it. I do hope that one day Jeonhee decides to write more for this story, because I will definitely read it, and I recommend that you read it too. This is an Asian tale. It's very Asian inspired world. It's so beautiful, just gorgeous storytelling. The writing is great, and you actually get to follow Hesinia's descent into despair as she just deals with all of these things she wasn't necessarily prepared for, and I really enjoyed that. I feel like it's not often that you actually get a YA protagonist, especially a heroine, who is so flawed and is so human, and it just was really refreshing that she wasn't perfect. She didn't know everything. She wasn't this magical heroine who was gonna fix everything. It was great, and I really, really liked this one. I believe I gave this one 4.5 stars, and I would really recommend that you pick this one up. It is at this point a standalone. I believe it's less than 400 pages, or right about 400 pages, so it's a quick read and it's just so great. Fifth book that I read is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. This follows Amora, a princess, as she attempts to ascend the throne or prove to her people that she is strong enough and dependable enough to be what they call an animancer, which is a person who wields soul magic. Something goes wrong at her display of her soul magic, and she has to essentially flee because she is seen as dangerous. She pairs up with a pirate, and they go on this adventure to prove herself to her people, unravel some mysteries that are going on, and deal with some unrest that her island country is dealing with. This was another one that was really jam-packed, full of events. I felt it could have done with a little bit more between each event, a little bit more development, but again, super quick pace, one thing after another, so you're never really going to be bored. The only thing I didn't like too much was that the romance seemed a bit more of an instant infatuation than anything. Like, oop, they're attracted to each other, and then all of a sudden, like, they're basically in love. And it's a basic YA romance plot, but the plot of the story itself was great. The world that Adeline Grace builds is really, really beautiful. Like, you just have these gorgeously described islands, and even the islands that are meant to be more run down, like, there's still rich descriptions. You can tell that these places were beautiful and are beautiful, and I really liked the world that she created. I believe this one I also gave 4 stars to, and it's a duology, so there's not too much going on. The second book is already published, so you can pick them up and get them done. I know I personally don't like waiting too long for sequels to things, so this one's already finished and you can go ahead and read both of them. I'm starting the second one, but I haven't finished it yet. The 6th book of the month is Tamsyn Muir's Gideon the Ninth. I loved this. I loved this so much I gave it 5 stars when I finished. I thought it was great. Gideon as a protagonist is amazing, and essentially you're following Gideon and her necromancer Harrowhark as they go to explore a gothic mansion or palace in space to basically essentially try to pass a test so Harrow can become a lictor, which is essentially, or lictor, however you pronounce it, which is essentially a high-ranking servant to the Emperor of their galaxy or universe, whichever. Hi, Dora. Would you like to not eat my plants? Thank you. Anyways, it follows Gideon as they explore this palace. It essentially turns into a murder mystery partway through, and it's weird, it's kind of creepy. It explores all these theories of necromancy and different aspects of it, and how the relationship to necromancy works. it's enemies to something. It's not quite lovers, but it's enemies to something. It was so well done. And it's funny. It's a funny book. Gideon herself is an unreliable narrator. You can tell she doesn't know what's going on all of the time. So it definitely feels like you're missing out on some details, but it works. Dora, yeah, it's just funny. There were basically every few pages I had to stop and do that like kind of laugh where, you know, you just breathe heavily through your nose and out, because Gideon would just say something that was so like stupid or so inappropriate for the situation they were in, and it was just funny. She's a very, very fun character to follow, like even in the very serious parts of the story. It's just, she's so funny. And I loved the tension between her and Harrow. I loved the other characters in the book. Like, it was just a very, very, very well done story. This is one of those where I know I'm going to be waiting on the third book for at least a year, and I'm really upset about it, but I'm also really excited for it. So I finished Gideon literally last night, and yeah, it was just so great. My husband read it, and now we can both talk about it and just be just ridiculous about it. Because again, I would really, really recommend this if you like lesbians, if you like necromancers, if you like space. I love all three of them. Read this. Like, it's just so good, and it's just a wild ride. It's a wild ride basically from start to finish, and it's great. So that's everything I read in March. I know as of the time I'm filming this, there's still a couple more days in March, so I could finish some stuff, but we'll just throw it in with April. As for what I'm reading in April, I've decided not to do a set TBR anymore. I found that in March it really held me back because there are other things that I was really wanting to read that I felt like I couldn't because I needed to stick to my TBR. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I think my wrap-ups are just going to be a nice little fun surprise for anyone who actually watches my videos. And instead, I might list some things that I might read instead of what I say I'm going to read and then end up feeling bad later when I don't want to read it because I'm just craving something else. My first possible, which is a definite actually, is going to be Harrow the Ninth, because there's no way I'm not reading this. I just finished Gideon last night. I need to know what happens, and this is from Harrow's perspective, so I'm really, really interested to see her thoughts and feelings about everything that have happened, especially because I believe it does go back and cover her perspective from some of the events that happened in the first book. I could be wrong about that, but either way, I'm really excited. And look at that cutie. How could you not want to read something from her perspective? Let's be real. Second on my probable list is All the Tides of Fate by Adnalyn Grace. This is the follow-up to All the Stars and Teeth. I have started it already, and I don't know if I'm actually going to finish it. From the get-go, there are things that need to be wrapped up from the first book, but there are also events that are introduced that just sound like they're going to fall into this trap of every other YA book, where the characters who are obviously in love with each other, or infatuated with each other, we should say, aren't going to be together because of some stupid reason that boils down to just miscommunication. Like, if they took 5 minutes to sit down and actually talk to each other like adults, things would probably be worked out. And yeah, I personally don't like that. If they're pretty much together by the end of the first book, just let them be together and show them being a badass couple supporting each other. Don't throw in something that keeps them apart just because you want like the drama and the angst, and like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I am still going to read it because I want to know if it's actually going to fall into that trap or if I'm just projecting that onto this at this point. But essentially that's kind of where I think this is going to go, and I don't really care for it. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it surprises me and things are way better than I think they're going to be, especially because I liked the first book a lot. But yeah, this is second on my probably going to read this month list. And actually, I guess I say it's probably going to read this month list. It's books I've already started list. And this is the third one, The Once and Future Witches by Alix Harrow. I keep wanting to say Harrow, but Alix E. Harrow. And this follows three sisters as they move through the women's suffragette movement, and they are witches, and I don't know too much else about them. I just know that 2 of my friends have read it and said it was super, super, super duper good. So I borrowed it from one of them, and I'm excited to read it too, and I did start this one as well. Others that I want to give a quick shout out to, as you might possibly see them on the April wrap up, is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I just picked this up today from my local little indie bookstore, and they absolutely raved about it. The couple who owns the bookstore absolutely raved about it. So I'm really excited to read this. They said it was just really great, and it has like this non-violent social change sticker on it, so I'm really interested to see if or how that a non-violent social change works in a YA novel. Buddy. And yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about this one. I've heard it's one of those ones you basically want to read in one sitting, even though it looks like it's probably at least 400 pages. So yeah, this might show up on my April wrap-up. And then other ones that I might want to read this month are going to be The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I still want to read Pride of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon and her Bone Season series. There's so many things I want to read, and I know I'm listing them here, but like, this is stuff you'll probably see, if not in April, over the next couple of months. So yeah, things like Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I really want to read that. I've heard really good things about it too. The City of Brass, that whole trilogy, want to read that too. The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. I haven't read any of her stuff, but I've heard really good things about it, and I have the first one in the Broken Earth trilogy, and I really want to read it. But that is my problem. There are so many books and so little time. So we'll see where I end up. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. My life just flashed before my eyes. Did you see that?
Yeah.
What, you see a birdie? Okay. You see a birdie, so you scare mommy half to death? Okay. Well, at least you didn't tear up my leg. Thank you for that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this very chaotic wrap-up, not TBR. I will hopefully be having a couple more videos for you over the next month, including another Piece and Pages unboxing when that comes, and hopefully a little sewing vlog about some things that I've made lately. Other than that, I will see you in the next video. If you've made it this far, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Let's have a, let's have a little chat. Let's be friends. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.